Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm walking out in the rain. I just got home from the Wheeler Bassmaster Open and just kind of admiring the nature of our property. I actually planted a couple trees the other day, so I was out here checking them. Eastern redbud doing really well. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the beautiful things about buying this property is that after a long tournament week, I can come home and just decompress a little bit. So glad to be home. It was a rough tournament at Wheeler. Now, as far as like the results of the week, not a bad tournament, honestly. Yeah, I didn't get a check, but in the Opens, like only the top 40 out of 221 in this event got paid. So, if I was still fishing the pro circuit where I finished, which was 67th out of 221, that definitely would have got a big fat $10,000 check. And so overall, as far as a percentage of the field, 67th isn't bad. It's good points. I obviously, after Bugs Island finishing 163rd there, that set me behind in the points race quite a bit. But having a 67th brings me right back to where I need to be a little bit. Not quite. I shouldn't say it that way. We're still, we have like a 73rd place average now. We need to be in the like 50 place average by the end of the year to compete for an Elite Series berth. So we need to have a couple top 10s in the next few tournaments, but this tournament definitely did not hurt us, which is good. But honestly, I felt like this was a bad tournament for me. I really do feel like I didn't fish too well. I was a little bit too hard on myself. It was a really difficult tournament for me. And the reason, I thought about it a lot afterwards because I'm like, why are you so hard on yourself? This is, you fished a good tournament. You only lost one fish. I broke one fish off. It wasn't my line's, fault because it was a big one. It was like 5-6 pounds in a willow tree, like 20 feet into this just tangled mess. And it just, sawed it. And whenever you have, fluorocarbon, heavy fluorocarbon, it was 22 pound. Whenever you have fluorocarbon or nylon lines in trees and a big fish like that gets the opportunity to just saw it against the wood, the bark, it's a disaster. But anyways, for the most part, I fish clean. The hardest part about this tournament, and by the way, I caught 12-11 exactly both days, so very consistent overall, and we to finish in the top 70. But the reason why it was so frustrating is because I felt like I just never really made great decisions, but a lot of that wasn't due to my decision making, like my flaws in my decision making. It was actually because every time I make a decision to do something, I would run into another angler or multiple anglers and I'd have to pivot. I'd have to try something. Never have I fished a tournament in recent memory that was fishing so crowded. Yes, Okeechobee 2 years ago, the one that I was leading, there was like 25 guys in the same area. That was pretty crowded. But you could go elsewhere if you wanted to, if you felt like you needed to. You can make the decision to go up to the north end and get away from a crowd. But in this instance, there was nothing else on the lake that I could find after 4.5 days of practice that was worth going to that didn't already have a boat on it. And it seemed like everybody in the field was fishing, within that 6 mile area of the ramp, 2 miles up the river and 4 miles down the river to the power lines. The whole Decatur Flats were taken up. Every little high spot on any of the main river channels was taken up at all times with multiple anglers on the best spots. And even the shallow stuff, I was flipping and pitching and throwing a chatterbait. I caught them on a Z-Man palmetto bugs. Go figure, in the Bama bug color, my favorite color, and flipping that around willow trees and bushes. And then I was also throwing a chatterbait around for that shad spawn in the morning. And then yesterday it kind of extended throughout the day because of the cloud cover and the wind. So that's what I was doing, but I was constantly fishing with other people, and you know, a lot of guys had to fish behind me. I had to fish behind guys like Greg Hackney, you know, was fishing the same area, and I constantly bumped into him. And so it's like, you know, what can you do? It's not like Okeechobee where you're fishing a big giant flat and you can say, oh, well, he's fishing there. I can go out to this you know, clump of toolies out here and flip those real quick. It's like a straight line. Everybody's pitching to the same cover over and over and over again. You're just hoping that you get you know, good timing to get that bite. So had to get a little bit creative, but it was really, really difficult because it's like if I was outside of those key areas that I had, I just could not buy a bite. I did find like one little tiny stretch yesterday that produced the big fish that I ended up losing. Again, not an equipment fault. It just was part of the game. And then I caught a 3-pounder, and then I caught a 2-pounder later in the day. And that was, you know, one of my better stretches that didn't have a boat on it every time I was there. But anyways, you know, despite the fact that I had a lot of frustration during the event, and it was just very difficult for me to make good, solid decisions, which tournament fishing is all about, your decision making. Overall, I feel like it ended well. You know, 67th, not a check, but still good points. Not going to hurt me as far as the points race. Not going to help me a ton either. But yeah, so I'm happy with how it ended up to a certain extent. But yeah, it was just a challenging event, and a lot of people had to deal with the same exact thing. So I'm not saying that nothing I'm saying is specific to my experience out there. Everybody had to deal with the same type of thing. So anyways, it's off to the next one. We got Eufaula, Oklahoma coming up in 2 weeks. I'm really excited about that one because the whole field will just be swallowed up by that place. It is a massive fishery. You can fish in so many different places and do so many different things. And I think that's exactly the type of lake that I want to see right now after how small Lake Wheeler fished, or Wheeler Lake fished. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for all the support this week. You know, one of the coolest things about this whole deal, you know, especially doing this YouTube channel, is the fact that, you know, I get to meet a lot of people that follow me on these social media channels. And I just wanted to say thank you to you guys that came up to me this week to you know, tell me that you do follow me, you watch the videos and all that. I'll give a shout out to one guy. He ended up he lives right next to the RV resort that I was staying at in Athens. He came up to me and just wanted to say hi as I was packing up to leave yesterday. His name's Jordan. Just shout out to him and his buddy that he was talking about. But I just love meeting you guys, so I really appreciate all the support, and for you guys to come up to me and, you know, say that you like my content. It means a lot, especially after I've been so hard on myself all week. So anyways, guys, thank you very much. Make sure you trust the process. I didn't trust the process at all times this week, but in the end, the process did get me a decent finish. So trust the process. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Can't talk right now, but like, share, subscribe, and I'm going to see you out on the water. Take care.